Well, hello, Chad.
Oh, that's not Chad.
Hey,
but
that's not Chad, but he's going to be here later.
we got a special guest, and we just ruined the surprise for you.
Well, they got to look at a very nice man that is coming on to our show very soon here.
Kevin,
now they just got to look at our faces right now.
They're probably tired of us. It's episode 197.
Why do you think we got to start bringing on other people? Come on. You know, this is the Candid Athletic Training Podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Chad.
Chad.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm busy as can be. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good. We had a little family emergency last week, so
no worries.
We're back. We're excited. We've got a special guest. We're gonna do things a little backwards. We're gonna start with our feature topic and then go into our regular fun episodes.
So unlike us.
Afterwards. So yeah, we're ready to go.
We're here.
It's the holiday season. Are you in the mood?
I'm totally in the mood. I mean, every once in a while I'm a little bit of a Grinch, but that's fine. I like now there's a funny Grinch out there with Jim Carrey's Grinch. Okay, here's a hot take. Have you seen the animated one?
No.
No? Okay, good. You probably shouldn't watch it. I think the animated one, not the original animated one. That one's amazing.
Oh, I was going to say, I've seen that one.
Jim Carrey versus the Cumberbatch one.
Oh, I have
Jim Carrey all day.
Okay.
Oh, he's such a better Grinch.
Interesting.
No offense, Benedict, but you know what? I'm not watching your movie. I'll watch all the other stuff. Sherlock.
I know, he's so good.
There's a dog. I hear a dog.
Yeah, that's all right.
We love dogs on Candid Athletic Training.
Yeah.
No worries.
All right. Let's get our housekeeping done, and then we can bring in our special guest here.
Who do we need to thank?
So
for
let's
being
thank
a special friend,
the official sponsor of Candid Athletic Training, Healthy Roster.
Those guys.
Check them out at www.healthyroster.com. We're gonna have Dan on in a couple weeks.
Yes, we are.
He's got some pretty fun things that he's doing at Healthy Roster.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to kick off something really kind of cool with us in 2 weeks.
Oh, my God. So excited.
Check them out in 2 weeks. And if you are it's the end of the year, maybe going into next year, you're like, look, I need a new EMR. I hate how I'm doing my medical records now. Get to them, healthyroster.com.
I love it.
Also, we need to thank Human Kinetics.
Yes.
So thanks, Human Kinetics. They are a show sponsor, and you can get 20% off any Human Kinetics course by using the code CANDID CEU.
Should we announce something right now?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do it?
Oh, my gosh. All right, so Human Kinetics also paired with us and said, you know what we want to do? We want to give 12 of your members a free CEU course worth 6 CEUs. 6.
4, 5,
so if you're a member of this show, you are eligible to receive that free code from us. And this week, our good friend, Mr. Zach Dunbar, is our winner. So you'll get an email soon. Zach, actually, you'll probably hear it, or you'll get it before you even hear this, or after we do this live. You'll get your code, and then you get to learn stuff. Yeah. Kinetic Anatomy is the course that we are giving away. 12 free courses.
So 6 CEUs go to Zach. If you want to be eligible to win one of their courses through us, I think we're giving away 5 or 6 more. So you still have 5 or 6 more opportunities to win. You just got to become a member of the Candid Athletic Training Podcast. Go ahead and check it out on the website, candidathletictraining.com.
We're working for you. We are working for you.
We got through that really fast.
We did.
Because we want to get to the next thing. Mm-hmm. Super important. So let's also thank one of our other show sponsors, Smart Tools.
The smartest tools. The
smartest tools out there. 10% off any Smart Tools using the Candid 10 code. That's Candid 10 will get you 10% Candid Toes. Do you have Candid Toes, Kevin?
Oh, I got Candid Toes. For sure.
I don't want to know. So 10% off anything at Smart Tools using the code Candid 10.
Yeah.
So why we mentioned them?
Oh,
Let's bring them on. So obviously they've got soft tissue instrument assisted tools, but they're also like the best in BFR. And we wanted to have, let's just bring them on and let's let them introduce themselves. Ed's going to talk about smart tools and some BFR. So let's bring them on. So this is Ed. I'm gonna butcher the last name. Ed Lacara.
No.
Lacera.
Yep, that's it. Lacara, that's it.
It's Lacera.
No, it's Lacara.
Lacara. I knew I was gonna say it wrong. No matter what, I literally just 1 minute before we started the show.
He was so nervous about it.
So Ed,
It's like your first time ever doing a podcast. I feel.
first 197. I'll get it at some point. Ed, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yes.
We've got some people on the live stream right now, and we also obviously will be broadcasting this later, so there'll be an audio version of this too. So tell them a little bit about yourself, Ed.
Yeah, so thanks, guys, so much for having me on, and I just want to wish everybody happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And
you got a
New Year and all that
fantastic
stuff.
tree back there. If you're not watching the live stream, I'm going to give that thing a 9.5.
Ooh, a 9.5.
That's a really
All right.
a solid score. I'm like one of those people that will never give a 10. So like
Fair.
I like it.
That's
It's-
amazing.
It's a good height
Is that an 8-footer?
width ratio.
Yeah, I think it's a 9-footer,
A
actually.
9-foot tree. Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
lot of ornaments.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, we had fun, family putting it up last night. So, yeah, we're getting into the season. It's awesome.
I love it.
My name's Ed Lacara. Originally from San Francisco Bay Area, relocated to Dallas, Texas in 2014. Opened a commercial athletic training room out here originally. That was my dream, and then went out to Denver and opened a couple out there. I fell in love, came back to Dallas, and my partner and I have opened up it's a med spa / wellness center. So we do a lot of aesthetics and IV therapy and hormones, and we've got 2 physicians and nurse practitioners and lots of nurses and other people. And I primarily do what I do, sports med, get people back to activity that they love to do. So
That sounds awesome, Ed, by the way. Good.
yeah, it
kudos
is.
to you.
It's I've been in practice for 22 years. Originally as a frontline medic in the Army, that's what really propelled me into being a sideline guy. Loved being an athletic trainer, but in all honesty, just didn't like the money I was making.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to be able to open my own business. And so I went to chiropractic school. Was kind of like, the way I built my practice in San Francisco is I had a ton of athletic trainers that we would contract with different collision and contact sports. And those coaches, I taught CPR and made their emergency action plans, and just really kind of built my name up and the clinic's name up. But being an athletic trainer is really who I am at my heart. And I just practice the way that I can so that I can see patients off the street and, do what I did in the athletic training room, but in a private setting.
That's awesome.
And then I just combined some other stuff. So, all the stuff that's kind of coming out that's kind of hot and, unfortunately very expensive. But we still are able to do it and have a good time. And, we just do stuff that we want to do. So it's pretty cool. Not a lot of red tape except for me and the boss, which is my partner. And she making sure that I keep the straight and narrow. So, yeah, we're having fun.
I love that.
And what's your official role with Smart Tools for the people listening?
I'm their director of education. So I've been with them since 2015-ish, 2016 really. They asked me to develop some content for instrument-assisted soft tissue. They had just kind of gotten into the marketplace. I was with Rock Tape, and I really liked what Smart Tools was about. They were a small family-owned company out of Cleveland. Nick had come out, the CEO had come out with these really, really great tools that were stainless steel, 316, really sharp, just really effective, way more effective than other tools that I had used. But he wanted to make them very affordable. So they were very, very high quality, but also about a third of the price of which you would find other stainless steel tools.
Right.
The other thing that I was very impressed with is that he wanted to make sure that they were FDA listed. So they really try to do all the right things. They try to make it affordable. They try to make it high quality. They stand behind their name. They're family owned. And so we were trying to really bring, relatively inexpensive tools and education that was top notch to the marketplace. So that's really where I got my start with smart tools back then.
And I'm going to go ahead and just toot your horn for you. So when I was at the traditional setting at a Division I school, we wanted to get into the BFR world. And so we ended up, researching several companies, and we went with Smart Tools. And after you buy it, you're like, okay, great, I got it. What do I do with it? And so we had you do a course for the whole staff. And we spent an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't remember exactly how long it was. And you kind of walked us through the whole thing, the why, the how, the what, all of it. And it was a great class, and it made me actually want to know more and more and more about it. I spent some time at the school, using it. And as I was using it, I was like, oh, I want to know more about it. So one day I picked up the phone and I called Ed and I said, hey, Ed, I got some questions. I work cross country. I work baseball. I want to know how I can maximize my athlete's recovery using these tools. And we probably talked for another 45 minutes to an hour. It was great. So thank you to you for just doing what you do and educating dummies like me on how to become better athletic trainers. So, I think that was big for me personally, and also the school, is the education side of using these. Like, so often as athletic trainers, we have these athletes come in and they just say, hey, can I do this? Can I do the cupping? And you're like, why do you want to do the cupping? Well, I saw Michael Phelps had these marks on his shoulders from, the Olympics 8 years ago. And so that's what everyone's doing. Educating us on why we should and shouldn't be doing, or how we should be doing it, is super important. I just want to say Ed was at the top of it. Just, again, kudos to you for the education content that you have put out and educating, the people that are using the tools. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's something I really, really enjoy. I teach in 2 master's level programs. One is an athletic training program, and one is an exercise and health program. And so I just really love education. And it's like the whole reason that I went back and got a PhD in athletic training was I wanted to be the nerdy guy that could also relate to the clinician and kind of bridge those 2 gaps. Like, how does the clinician read and understand the literature, but also make it applicable? Because too many times we see research that it just makes no sense. We're like, why do they even bother doing this? It has no applicability to the clinic. And so because I'm so heavy into the clinic, I try to enhance clinicians' understanding of the literature and how to apply it to their patient base in a real way, like not just philosophically or theoretically, but hey, this is what I do in the clinic, and this is how I've failed. Like, this is how I've made mistakes. Learn from me, and let's not make these mistakes, and let me learn from you. And how do we just get better? And so really kind of, I appreciate you saying those nice things, because sometimes you just don't get feedback, especially since COVID started, when we were doing everything online, you just get no feedback, and you wonder, anybody listening? Is any of this make a difference? So I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ed, you belong on this podcast by a million miles.
Yeah, Kevin
we
and
talk
I
about those exact same frustrations all the time. There is research and it's valuable, but it just sits there, right? How do we make it applied to our patients and our athletes in a very, very real way? That's what athletic training is. We can research everything we turn blue in the face, but if we're not applying it, and if we're not actually asking the right questions after that research, it's pointless.
Right.
So this is Candid Athletic Training. So we've decided, if you haven't listened to our show before, we don't do a ton of interviews. We do very few.
But I'm glad we're doing this one.
Yeah, we try to avoid long, boring classroom lectures. But we wanted to have you on. So tell us the nuts and bolts of, like, maybe for the high school athletic trainers who are going to be listening to this later, give us like a short synopsis of the benefits of using BFR as an athletic trainer.
Yeah, so I think what really caught my attention was in about 2016, my buddy was the director of sports medicine and athletic trainer at FC Dallas. And that's the MLS team here in Dallas. And he's a very smart dude. I really respect him. His name is Skylar Richards. He's down in Florida now, still working with MLS. Well, he had the lowest injury loss time in the MLS. That's how they measure basically success in the MLS. So his athletes had the least amount of game time loss. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Like, how are you making that happen? And how do you bring that to the 49ers? Because I'm dying right now, right? So
we need a running back and a quarterback.
You can't BFR a foot, can you?
Yeah. So
you can.
So, I'm talking to him, and, he's just like, listen, you need to look up what BFR is. And so I'm like, that sounds terrible. Blood flow restriction, like, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever want to cut off oxygenation to a working muscle unless you're doing something, anaerobic threshold or something? So he's like, listen, I'm not even going to talk to you anymore about this until you dive into a little bit of research. So I said, okay.
That's a good friend.
I'm used to making, and I know this isn't right, but this is what's done in the real world. I did it for TRX. I did it for Trigger Point Performance. I did it for Rock Tape. I did it for other places where they take the nerd in the room, which is usually me. When you said smart tool, I was thinking, yeah, I'm the tool. And
but you're the smartest tool I know.
We didn't say it.
So I know you didn't say it. I just applied it. Anyway, so we're used to having a product and having to look for literature to make the literature fit the product, which is the total wrong way to do it, by the way, right? So this was the total opposite. I did a PubMed search, I did a sports discus search, and there was over 700 studies already validating its use, validating its safety, and just kind of the beginnings of what was best practices. And I was like, PhD boner, if I can say that on the podcast.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, it's Candid. Yep, we got it.
It's like, how is this existing? And I don't know anything about it. Like, it's almost embarrassing, thinking that you're an evidence-based guy and I don't know anything about this. So I just started deep diving. Is this legit? Like, what's going on? So I did what every other person does when they find something new. It's the same thing I did when I found out about instrument-assisted soft tissue. I was working on my PhD. Don Chu, who's like a legend in athletic training, right, was the director of sports medicine at Stanford, had his own clinic, worked with U.S. track and field. He was an idol of mine, was teaching a class of mine, and he was using basically instrument-assisted soft tissue, and I was like, okay, how do I start using this? So I started looking for tools, and they were really expensive, and so I went with the cheapest tool. So I did the same thing with BFR. I'm like, I want to try this out. I want to see, does this actually work? Bought some tools. Now, there wasn't a lot of options back then. Like, the best option was about $6,500 for a single cuff.
Right.
You had to take the course in order to actually buy the product first, which was a $750 for a single day course, which at the time was pretty pricey. And I got really turned off. I was like, the only way that I can actually get into this is there was a really high curve. Like, there was like a high portal of entry. So there was research backing it. There was safety. There was efficacy. I want to start trying this out. What are my options? So Nick and I, the CEO of Smart Tools, who I mentioned before, Dr. Pelosi, and I were traveling in Australia. We were teaching some instrument-assisted courses, and I brought some of these cheaper cuffs with me. And I said, listen, Nick, and this, I think, could be the next big thing, because there's really nobody else. There's no other dogs in the fight. Like, there's nobody doing evidence-based BFR right now that it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to take the course and buy these. Like, this is not applicable for a high school athletic training room that has a $8,000 a year budget, versus, for a single BFR cuff. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we tossed it around a little bit. We tried it out. We did workouts with it. We did, and he was just like, you know what? Yes, we need to do what we did with instrument assisted, which take an expensive product, make it affordable, have me make some education around it, that it's evidence-based, that is clinically sound, and we need to bring this to the marketplace. And that's what we did. And we screwed up. We screwed up so bad the first round, because we made a product, and if you're using BFR, if you're getting into BFR, there's some controversy around. Sorry, that's Siri going crazy. That in order to know what pressures you use, we believe that you need to have what's called an individual limb occlusion pressure. Like, it's different for everybody. So you use the right amount of pressure that is safe and effective. Well, our first initial cuffs we made, our Gen 1 cuffs, we used a bladder that didn't allow us to do it. And some research came out very shortly after we had spent 6 months making a cuff, really suggesting that you use this individualized limb occlusion pressure. And so it was very disheartening. We'd spent a lot of money and a lot of time. But to Nick's credit and to Smart Tools' credit, they said, it's not right. We're starting over. And he scrapped it, he took it off the market. And he came back shortly later and made it so it was right. And so we were able to find limb occlusion pressure with our Gen 2 cuffs, which we feel is very, very important for safety and efficacy. And that's how we kind of got launched. And then we came out with Gen 3 cuffs that automatically find your limb occlusion pressure. And then in a short time here, and probably at the end of this quarter, well, probably more like Q1 of 2013, it'll all be app-based, and the cuffs will find the pressure. It'll find how much you need to do in order to safely and effectively. And as an athletic trainer, I'll be able to control 5 cuffs at the same time, or 5 sets of cuffs, so I can have multiple athletes working in the athletic training room at the same time, or your physical therapy clinic, or whatever clinic you're working. So it's going to be very, very cool. So I think what I want people to know is that we're adapting with the science that comes out, with our clinicians that we sell to, getting the feedback and saying, hey, we need to make this better and better and better. And now we're on Gen 4 after just, 4 years. So that's what we do. And I'm proud of that. I think I think it's very noble to continue to adapt to the marketplace, to make things better, to not necessarily make it more expensive. Like, we've actually kept it underpriced, really, and continue to bring it to the marketplace.
So a couple early comments on the live stream. We've got Victoria Morris says she's loving the product here at Fort Bliss. Soldiers love them. And then Mike Hopper says he uses his mostly for post-op knee injuries. And he asked, what are some other uses we should be looking for in the product? And I was going to say that's probably my favorite thing about it, about the BFR. So Kevin and I did a draft a couple months. It was probably a couple years ago. It was like a rehab draft. If you were going to build a rehab room and you could only have certain things, and we drafted, and I had the first pick, and the first thing I took was BFR cuffs. I said I have to have them. That would be like, if I see so much benefit to it.
So much.
One, the versatility in terms of, I was working with cross country, trying to get people back recovering and aerobic thresholds, and then I'm working baseball, 2 complete opposite sports. And you can use BFR for both, and it's amazing. It blows my mind. There's so much versatility in why you would use a BFR cuff. I think is, to me, the coolest thing ever. 2, it's easy to travel with. It's versatile. It's lightweight. 3, when I'm on the road or during COVID, when I took it home with me, I was getting workouts in myself and getting swole because it's just easy. So in terms of answering Mike's question, maybe you can go into a couple of different functions. I know, like when you taught us, it was like the cell swell, and then the aerobic training, and then some of the anaerobic training. I don't know, maybe if you could go into that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we have to think about, and what I like to teach on, is that when we have injured tissue, typically the system did not have enough capacity to meet the demand that we imposed on it. Like if we break it down, like how do we get injured? We were probably not durable or strong enough in order to withhold the demand applied upon us. So if we can make that tissue or that system stronger, we are more resilient. I think most people would be in approval of that. Now, is it 100% true? But no, but it's probably 2 standard deviations true. So now we say, okay, if our job as athletic trainers or rehab people or strength and conditioning people are to make our systems stronger, how's the most efficient way to do it? And if we look at literature, in order to increase strength or hypertrophy, we need something between 12 to 16 weeks. It takes a while. If you want true strength and hypertrophy, not just, neurological adaptation. And you have to be lifting at very high loads, between 65 and 90% of one's 1 rep max, or you need to be taking lighter loads to failure. I'm pretty sure everybody would be fairly agreeable about those.
Sure.
Pretty spot on.
The beauty of BFR is it allows you to use light loads that injured tissue can tolerate, yet get the adaptation of using heavy loads. And that's it. That's the mic drop. That's what turned me on. You don't get muscle damage when you use the light loads. That's why we're taught it in school. What are we taught? We're taught stress tissue to the point where you can. And it might be a TheraBand or a resistance band. It might be a light dumbbell. It might be just body weight squats. That's all that people can tolerate. But what we know is that unless you take those light intensity loads to failure, you're not causing strength and hypertrophy change. Throw cuffs on though, and now you do. And not only do you do it acceleratedly, like in about a third or a quarter of the time, but you do it safely because the loads are not heavy. That's BFR in a nutshell. That's the number one reason why I got turned on to it and how I use it in the clinic.
That's a golden ticket, if I've ever heard one. Shorter time and safely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. It's this, and the cool thing is it's like you don't have to use different exercises. Like I use the same exercise. I had an orthopedic surgeon come in yesterday for treatment on his medial epicondylitis. It really is medial epicondylosis. It's been going on for like 6 or 9 months. His first visit with me, I had treated his wife. She was happy with her treatment. He comes in, he wants to talk to me about it, which is cool because, I love to geek out with the ortho and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to hit this with shockwave. We got to bring blood flow to it. We're going to stimulate stem cell. We're going to get this tissue to become healing. Then we're going to load it, and we're going to load it lightly, but we're going to load it with BFR. And he had never used BFR. He'd heard of it, but he had never used it before. We were able to immediately go into eccentric loads, and he's like, this makes sense. And guess what? What used to take me 3 or 4 exercises to fatigue tissue, especially at light loads, takes me 1 with BFR. So my time savings in the athletic training room is immense because I don't need 4 or 5 exercises to wear you out. And ultimately, what I've really learned over the course of this last 4 or 5 years is that the body doesn't know the difference. It's not looking at the pressures you're using. It's not looking at the weight you're using. All it knows is that it's getting tired and getting close to failure. And if you can take tissue close to failure, you will get adaptation. If you don't, you won't. So if you're still doing 3 sets of 10 with light loads and the athlete looks at you like, all right, now what? I'm sorry, it's not enough load. You got to increase the load, or you got to take the tissue to failure, or close to it. 1 or 2 reps of volitional failure is probably close enough.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not on the live stream and listening to this later, yes, he did say you can shorten your rehab times with your athletes.
And spend less time
Less
on each
time
athlete.
with more benefit. It's just like you said, it is a mic drop. It was a
It's a
game
cheat
changer
code.
for me. It is the number one rehab tool that you can have.
I wish I knew what the rest of that draft entailed. I bet it's
I
listed somewhere.
think you took a SwimX Therapool.
I definitely had a swim.
I think that was your number one pick, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go back. It was many years ago.
I like water,
Yeah, you do like
but
aquatic therapy.
but BFR would have been my number one pick. You stole it.
It was the slam dunk number one overall pick. It was
You
the
had
one,
to
it was
take
the
it.
101.
You had to take it. 101.
It was the Christian McCaffrey of the draft picks. So
Stay healthy, please.
Please.
Talk about a cheat code. That guy's a cheat code on a football field. That's
I
for
know
sure.
he really is.
It really is.
Thanks, Chad. He heard you say I got swole. Abby's 16-year-old son wants mama to buy it for him. Just reading some of the comments here. Okay, so what we've heard so far is we've got shortened rehab. Your effectiveness in treatment is through the roof here. Again, I think another major benefit of your BFR cuffs, and maybe you can speak to this compared to other companies, is just the transportability, the ability to do stuff on the road. You're taking less equipment with you. Are there other benefits along those lines that maybe we're not thinking of here?
Well, I think the ability to untether from the pump is huge. You know, you don't want to have the pump either on an athlete's fanny, you know, like on a fanny pack or something. Because listen, athletes break everything, and you know, these things they're not overly expensive, they're not cheap either. So being able to inflate, get the proper limb occlusion pressure, and then detach the pump if you want to, so that way you don't have all these cords and wires and stuff around is a huge benefit. We just had a validation study. I don't know if you guys saw that, published by an outside orthopedic group, validating LOP in our systems. So, you know, we were getting a lot of people saying, oh, they're not really finding the proper LOP.
Right.
Sorry, guys, we are.
Nice.
We do what we say we do. It was validated, not by us, outside group. So that was really big for us to be able to be like,
That's
you know,
huge.
kind of give the finger to some of our competitors who just hate that we came in and went in and made it affordable for people. Really.
This guy's so
You know,
candid.
and there's a lot
Ed's
of-
so
there's a lot of-
candid. I love Ed. He's so candid.
There's a lot of other, you know, there's a lot of other benefits. Like we use it for. I love using BFR for turning on musculature that just hasn't been turned on in a while. Like you take an ACLR, you use the cuffs, and you get the muscle firing in a better way. It's almost like putting a battery charger on it, and you're accelerating the ability for the muscle to contract. And because you're increasing, we know this, you're increasing EMG activity of the musculature. You're getting better activation than what you can do on your own, especially when you're in pain. And mentioning pain, there's good literature to suggest that when you use BFR, you get reductions in pain as well. And I can anecdotally tell you that. Now listen, all exercise helps reduce pain. That's why we do it, right? It's one of the reasons we do it. I hope that we're doing it. I hope that we're not just laying people on tables and doing a bunch of passive modalities.
Oh, thank you.
But,
Thank you. You're on the payroll.
but having something that also reduces pain for a while is really helpful without an opioid or something else. It's really nice. And I'm going to tell you that my high-level athletes, my guys that a lot of times they find me because they were like, I was going somewhere else and they were giving me these exercises and I was leaving the place and not tired, not fatigued, not breaking a sweat and feeling I wasn't doing anything, and it's frustrating. And I'm like, well, just give me one or two exercises here and I'm going to change that real quick. So the perceived exertion is high, and for our athletes, they need that. They psychologically need it. As a guy, I was a Division I wrestler. I tore 3 out of the 4 ligaments in my knee. That's how I got into this whole rehab thing. My athletic trainer, my chiropractor, my strength coach got me back wrestling in about 4 months with a brace. Like, that's how I was like, I want to do this for other people. And when I can have something that can help people accelerate their recovery and get back to activity and help them mentally as well, I'm like, got to do it.
Yeah. I love it.
So you said that you have a select few rehab exercises, I assume, for lower body, upper body. I mean, like, what kind of, and you said you don't deviate much from that. Is that what I heard you say before?
You can use the same exercise that you're already using. Like, if you're using TheraBands or light dumbbells or body weight, you use the same exercises. You just throw some cuffs on. You don't have to really change your thinking around the exercises that you're doing. Like, if you love glute bridges, which I like glute bridges, I don't know, I like them. Throw some cuffs on and make it physiologically demanding. I mean, that's it.
That was one of my 3 lower body exercises: glute bridges with the cuffs on, nothing but pain in the hamstrings.
Yeah,
hamstrings were just fried.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that the more you fatigue those hamstrings, the more then the glutes have to then work to accommodate for the hip extension. So those start to get tired as well, even though they're above the cuff.
Yeah.
Even though they're proximal to the cuff, you still get benefit.
Well, isn't there a systemic effect to it as well?
There is. There's 3 effects. There's distal to the cuff. So if I have a cuff on my shoulder, you're gonna get an effect distal to the cuff. You're gonna get a crossover effect to the opposite side, even if you're not utilizing it, just like we do with normal exercise. You're gonna get a proximal, so like the shoulder, the glute, like those things are gonna get worked, even though you're using the cuffs and things are getting occluded distal to the cuff. But there is a systemic effect, and there's a systemic effect. It depends on who you talk to. I think that it's not as probably dramatic as what we once thought, or I once thought. But I think it's still there. I still think you get changes systemically with increasing growth hormone and some other things that can help the healing process as well. I think the local effect is greater. I do. But I still think that it all works together. Like, it's not the way that we learn stuff black and white. There's a lot of gray in there, and the human body is so amazing that it doesn't know any different. It knows it's getting tired. It knows that it's probably going anaerobic. It's got to do things in order to adapt, and that's what we need. We need to stress the tissue so it adapts. That's it. Get it tired. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's just so simple.
Why is it so simple?
It's just the company that has it figured out. Yeah,
simple things to make people better,
and not just simple,
ridiculous,
effective.
Oh,
like, that's the key. It's simple and effective. That's what it needs to be.
I think we've talked about this numerous times of our rehabs as we got more experienced in our athletic training careers. Why do we dive into these this is the only exercise that will create a stronger and more like stable hip? Well, like what about like just restoring function to something, and we'll just strengthen and we'll create a little more length here. Why do we have to complicate everything? Why do we have to go to the very specific stuff? Let's just create a better physiological human.
Yeah.
Throw some BFR cuffs on something and do the same exercises you're already doing.
Just movement patterns.
Absolutely.
Christ.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we won't take up any more of your time, but so for the people listening at home, 1, how do they look into using smart tools? And 2, what should they be expecting in terms of we just, looking towards their next budget year or whatnot? Like, what is a cuff cost kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have 2 different types of cuffs. We have a consumer version, which doesn't allow you to over-occlude, so people don't think that more is better and you use too higher pressures and it becomes dangerous.
Right.
And we have a professional version. With the Gen 4, which should be coming out shortly, you're going to be looking at, for like a full body, meaning you have enough cuffs to do the upper body, the lower body, It will be app-based where you can control it, the pressures and everything from the app. You'll be able to, like keep people's pressures in there and be able to go right back to it the last time that they trained. And you'll be able to record rate of perceived exertion, like a lot of cool stuff that'll be built in. You're looking, I don't have an exact price right now, but you're looking right around $1,500 for basically a full body BFR system.
Full body.
The consumer version, which will have a little bit of restriction on it so people don't hurt themselves, because we can't guarantee that everybody that's purchasing goes through the education and is properly educated.
Right.
And it's something we struggle with internally. Do we not allow the consumers to utilize it? No, I think we do, but we put some brakes on it to make it safe. Okay, so those are a little bit less expensive. You're probably going to be looking right around like $499, $399. I don't know exactly yet, because we just don't know with some of the parts, because of the supply chain right now, what it's going to actually cost us and how we're going to put it all together. So I'm happy to extend any of your listeners a discount on any of those. Like, I can get them like an education code. They just need to reach out to me, or I'll give it to you guys, and you guys can post it.
That's fantastic.
But it's going to be affordable. I'll guarantee you that. If you go to smarttools+.com, we have stopped actually selling the Gen 3 Pro because we didn't want to be like Apple and be like, oh, thank you for purchasing Gen 3. By the way, tomorrow Gen 4 is coming out. So we're giving everybody enough of leeway so they understand that, hey, this is what's coming up. And so by early quarter one, mid quarter one at the latest, Gen 4 will be released.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what Nick had said when we first started talking. It must have been Q1 of this year. He said, probably about a year from now, we're going to have another version. And that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and there won't be any tethering. So the pump and the Doppler is all built into the cuff. And
that's awesome.
Wow.
It's just going to be, you're going to be on your phone or your iPad or whatever, and you'll be able to control it from there. We've really been able to improve the pump so it'll be faster to get to limb occlusion pressure. Made some really nice.
That's a game changer, because I'll say the hardest part was kind of hooking yourself, like when you're trying to hook it up to yourself and navigate the tubing and the pump. Just being able to do it from your phone, that's huge.
It'll be really good. And it's fast. It's it's efficient. And you'll be able to just go back to that previous pressure the next time you work out, or if you've already got the pressure for your upper extremity and you're doing a second exercise, you just basically do the same as last time. It'll go to that pressure, and you'll be good to go. We really try to listen to people of what they want. We use it in the clinic. I try to give as much feedback as possible, like, hey, this is where I'm getting some hiccups, so that we continue to make it. Like I said, it's our 4th version in 5 years, which is, for a small company, it's a lot. It's a lot of work to kind of continue to improve, but that's just kind of what we're about. We just want to keep making it better, make it evidence-based, make it safe but effective, and then educate the masses on how they can bring it into their clinics, whether it's a high school athletic training room, a college athletic training room, a pro room. We're all over the place. We're pretty much everywhere now. So it's we just want to kind of continue to get the word out. And then we really think that this to the consumer market is important, because not everybody can come into my clinic 3 days a week or 2 days a week to do their rehab. It's nice to be able to send patients home with a set, know that it's safe because it's a consumer version, tell them what to do, and they can do their home exercises with the cuffs. They don't need a lot of equipment. If you saw my room, you would be, I don't know, appalled is the right word, but I basically have light dumbbells. I have some resistance bands. I have an iron neck. I don't have a lot of equipment because I don't need it, because I can do it all with BFR. I don't need a lot of space. My rent is really expensive where I live. I'm right across the street from Southern Methodist University. We don't have a ton of space. We want space. We don't have it. But I'm able to do everything I need to do with the cuffs and a little bit of light resistance.
We love that.
So
less is more.
That's Smart Tools Plus.
Smart Tools Plus, and we've got our instrument assisted up there. We've got our BFR. We have live courses. Before the pandemic, we had about 250 courses planned for 2020. Obviously, that got crushed. So we kind of transitioned some. We have level 1 on that's live stream. You can get it online, or you can sign up for a live course. We are getting back into live courses now for sure. Level 2, I've done it. I've just finishing up the final touches. And level 2 is really about performance-based BFR. So level 1 is about rehab-based BFR. What is it? What's the literature? Is it safe? How do we do it? All those kind of nuts and bolts. How do we do rehab with it when we're having to really use light loads? Level 2 is more performance-based. How do I use it pre-exercise to reduce damage done during exercise training? How do I use it post-exercise? How do I use it for aerobic capacity training? How do I use it to increase my ability to utilize lactate so I can go longer, stronger? How can I use it for, how do I use it to do biking like interval training? How do I use it? So a lot of different ways that we use it for performance. That's the level 2 course.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So awesome.
Well, we kept you way longer than we said we were going to, so we apologize for that, but it's some really cool information, and I think athletic trainers need to hear it and need to know more about it, because honestly, Kevin and I, we talk about it all the time, but like we like to nerd out on the rehab side of things. Kevin and I are big on the rehab side, and like for sure, if you are serious about being a really good clinician in terms of rehab, then you have to be looking at using BFR in our opinion, humbly. So I thought it was really important to have you on here and talk to you about why it is so beneficial. So again, if you're out there listening, if you're an athletic trainer and you're trying to figure out what the next step in your ATR is and helping with rehabs and stuff, make sure to go to smarttoolsplus.com. You can get 10% off using the Candid 10 code. And definitely check it out. I think it's really worthwhile. So Ed, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
I'd love to talk to you more about some stuff. I think it's a really cool conversation, and I think we could probably have one of these every couple months and never get boring to us anyway. So
absolutely.
Just thank you again. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I'd love to come on and love to teach, and love to share what I know. And so I appreciate you guys spreading the education about us and supporting us so well. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Thanks, Ed.
Take care,
right.
and hopefully your Niners heal up really quickly here.
Go Niners! Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and go Georgia Dogs. We got some fight to do for them too.
Oh, you do. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ed. Take care. Best of luck.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Well, all right.
Well, that was freaking awesome.
Man, that's exactly the kind of guy that
guy belongs on this show.
Yeah, he should be the host.
Jeez,
he should.
What
be
are we
hosting.
doing?
I don't know.
God. Well, he's got a lot of things going on. Maybe we'll just hold down the fort until he can just take over.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, Kevin and I have talked about it. It is something you really need to do.
I think BFR is a must-have in all athletic training rooms, all rehab settings, and Smart Tools is trying to make it more affordable. And even imagine the high school athletic trainer trying to say, I want a $6,500.
No chance. But you just heard him.
And even from the standpoint of like the $1,500, right? Like the $1,500, like that's really reasonable for a really quality BFR cuffs, especially this Gen 4 coming out. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But if you could get the consumer one for like $500 or less,
with 10% off.
Oof.
Just for listening to us.
Oof. Oof. That's a major oof. So thank you, Ed.
Super cool.
If you go back and listen to this, I mean that was awesome. And I would love to talk to you about everything else that you've done in your career.
Yeah.
But let's maybe get on to
do
a rest of the show.
Our weekly topics.
Sure.
So yeah, that went way longer than we thought it would. So we'll fly through some of this, but we wanted to, this is Candid Athletic Training. What would we be without a fat and FMK?
Yeah. So, but do you like it hard or soft?
So Oh, context is everything, Kevin. That is great. So we're going to start with our fictional athletic trainer.
Yes.
And you're referring to your taco shells, correct?
Oh, yes.
Hard or soft?
Yes.
Which
Jeez.
taco shell
God.
would make the best athletic trainer? Hard shell, soft shell. Age, old debate.
All right. Well, I know you're a soft shell guy.
No, I'm actually not.
You're not?
No, I actually like hard shell tacos.
Really? Okay.
I mean,
Well, 'cause
more.
you
It's
gotta
easier.
do corn.
Yeah, I have to do corn.
Yeah.
Although they make soft shell corn, and that's
Yeah,
what I
whatever.
make
Those
majority.
things
I do
fall apart
like.
just as much as a hard shell.
Yeah. So let's, but not. What would you rather? Well, what would you rather eat? Let's get that out of the way.
What would I rather eat?
A soft shell or a hard shell?
All right. I would rather eat a hard shell.
Yes.
But,
a good hard shell is better than a good. You never went and go,
Correct.
man, this is a really good soft shell.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If we're talking about the perfect taco, I actually think hard shell because it has to be a perfect shell. When you're talking about consistency of, I just know it's going to be good, you have to go soft.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I hate when it's just all falling apart.
Soft shell will fall apart, I think, faster than a hard shell.
No, not. I mean, do you warm up your soft shells?
Yeah.
Do you bake them, or do you like just warm it up in the microwave?
I don't have a microwave anymore.
Oh, that's true.
But I mean, yeah, I would. I used to do it in the microwave, 20 to 25 seconds.
Ooh.
But now I do it all on the flat top grill. Flip it halfway through.
I mean, don't overcook it because then it will crack.
You almost have to double down your soft. You have to
Double
you have to
it
double
up,
wrap it.
Double wrap that soft shell.
It's like Chipotle. Double wrap that burrito. It's how much it's
Ooh.
stuffed.
Ooh. I think I would, in a perfect scenario, I want a hard shell.
I agree.
I don't want to deal with a bad shell. I'm just gonna do soft.
Do they
shell.
make hard shell flours? No, they don't. That's not a thing, right?
I don't.
Are all hard shell corn?
I've never seen one.
You've never seen a hard flour?
I've never seen a hard flour.
hard flour is not a thing.
Never seen one.
Okay.
They're all soft and gushy.
Corn
Okay,
is
so
good.
but as an athletic
trainer, yeah. So let's look at this realistically here.
Okay, let's do it.
Soft shell, more pliable, more flexible, right? It's quicker. You can just like a hard shell takes time and preparation. It's not going to be ready on the spot. You have to prepare it.
Meaning like bake it for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So a soft shell is going to be just ready to go. Like an athletic trainer should be.
Soft shells can be ready to go. I mean, you don't have to warm it up. It'll get the job done. What about this?
Riddle me this, Batman.
Shelf life. A hard shell has a longer shelf life than
Does
a
it?
soft shell.
I don't know if it does.
I think so.
I almost disagree.
Really?
Are you saying like warm?
I'm saying no. Like you buy them, right? You buy them from the store.
I don't think a soft shell goes bad ever.
Chad's over here. You know what? I bought some soft shells and
In
they're
2019,
hard. They're hard
pre-pandemic.
now. So, I guess I just have hard shells. Like it became a hard shell.
Well, a hard shell. You think a hard shell doesn't go bad if it's just
No, it will go bad.
Yeah, so I think a soft shell has a longer shelf life.
You do?
I personally do. Because it can sit in the bag for.
It can sit in the bag for a while.
Yeah.
It's, like soft shells. You buy a box of soft shells, like they can sit in your cupboard forever. You go back to it. I don't know, pre-pandemic, freaking shells, probably still crunchy.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
if you claim, then soft shells have a longer shelf life.
I think they do. I guess I'm not 100% sure. We could probably
that's fine.
Let's just put that out there.
Sure.
Shelf life. Oh.
Which one can pack more in?
And
we're okay.
This is
All right. The standard hard shell. Everybody has the standard hard shell size in mind. Okay? Flatten that out. That's a soft shell taco. all right? Not these little, like, tiny, like, the size of your palm freaking street taco tortillas that they've been putting out there. I don't get that. That's a little one-bite thing. No. I want a taco. I want multiple bites, okay? Which one can actually pack more juice in there?
I think...
Because we got to pack a lot of stuff in our day.
I think you can get more into a soft shell.
Okay.
Because, and here's the reason why. And I'm pro hard shell. I want to eat it all. That's the one I want.
A little stretch action.
But like a soft shell... Okay, sorry, let me back up. A hard shell, it comes one shape.
What does it do? It comes
hard shell comes one shape. U. Comes a U.
Yeah.
Once that U is filled up, you're done. A soft shell, you could kind of maneuver it however you need to.
Yeah.
You can make a tall, narrow U. You can make I'm thinking a flat with just a little bit of a U, and then just stack that up. You can almost do like a tostada style.
A tostada. That's what I was trying to think.
You ever have a soft tostada before? Me neither.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is it can there's just more variability in a soft shell taco.
All right. Mess factor. Which one's more messy? Do you fold the end of your soft shell taco, or do you just pinch the top and eat?
I pinch the top and eat.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I fold the back end.
Up?
And then I
But then
pinch.
you're losing volume.
Nah, but I'm keeping it all in there.
Oh. So the mess factor kind of depends on, I think, how much you put in. I don't know. I think hard shell is going to be a little bit messier because you crunch down too hard.
No chance you can.
And Nisi agrees.
Not
the hard shell falls apart when you bite into it.
It does. It does. But it's kind of satisfying.
However, you never turn a hard shell taco into a soft shell taco. You take the soft shell and turn it into a hard shell for a reason.
Okay. Yeah. It's better.
It's like a seasoned. The hard shell is the seasoned.
It's a hardened athletic trainer.
It's weary. It's
got some age to it.
This is one of the best, like, non-person fats we've ever had.
Right, well, okay, so we always talk about rehab. We always talk about manual skills. We always talk about, the admin type things. Where are we going with this hard shell, soft shell, that we can knock off some? Which one's better at this? Which one's better at that? Which one's going to be a better communicator?
The soft shell, it doesn't cut the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's more pleasing to everybody. I think ultimately the soft shell taco is going to be a better athletic trainer, even though I'd rather eat the hard shell taco. I can't find any cracks under pressure
other than the durability of the hard shell is going to be. I think the durability and the shelf life is with the hard shell. It's going to hold up to the elements. Like, I think if you have a really greasy taco, and you put that in your soft shell, the bottom of it's just going to fall out.
It's going to leak out.
Here's a hot take. You know what I've started doing in the last year or two? When I build my tacos, I start
meat on top.
No, yeah, I start with the cheese on the bottom.
Yeah.
To kind of hold it all together.
Yeah.
Is that how you build your tacos?
Not always, but with with soft shells, I do it more often.
Yeah, cheese first.
Yeah.
Food hack here in the Candid Athletic Training.
What I like to do is take a little spoonful of queso with my soft shells and just spread it down there on the bottom.
Colleen says nobody likes a soggy bottom, and I 100%. That's getting favorited.
Soggy bottom.
Add to the podcast. Nobody likes a soggy bottom. You're right. That's why you need BFR squats. Oh, so true. Nobody likes soggy bottoms. Apple bottom jeans.
Boots.
Put the fur. Okay, so I think Nisi, Lizzie, and Colleen all agreed soft shell would make the better athletic trainer. I think soft shell makes the better AT. What have you given a final answer here?
Soft shell makes the better all around AT.
I agree.
Hard shell is it's like this perfect melt. Like a hard shell only can work with the one athlete. The one athlete that they know how to treat. They just have this sixth sense with each other, and that's it.
I'm gonna put the
so
shelf.
That's not a great athletic trainer.
Okay, so I think we're good on that. I'm gonna put up a poll on social media on Candid ATC on the Twitter. I want to know about this shelf life.
Candid_ATC.
Yeah. Why don't you get into our FMK?
FMK. All right.
And kind of break it down.
This is brought to you by Tyler Harvey. Sent us a little FMK via the website. So for anybody, you can go to candidathletictraining.com. There's going to be a little pop-up. You want to submit a topic, you want to submit something, just submit it. Or just go onto the website and you can find us and go to you can send us a message. Contact. Let us know what you want us to fat. FMK, friend or foe, would you rather? Topics. We are always looking for more topics. You want to hear more BFR, Smart Tools talk? Let's go. But Tyler Harvey, thank you for this submission. But he wants us to FMK while you're doing treatments. You got a booger hanging from your nose. You got something in your teeth, or you got bad breath. Go.
Boogers, stuff stuck in your teeth.
And somebody can see it. It's
breath.
like right there, And you're looking down at them, and they can see it.
Okay, super easy. I'm killing the stuff in my teeth.
All right.
I have the world's worst food trap here. This right here, chicken. I can't eat chicken without it getting stuck right here. And you can hear that I'm pointing to my mouth on the podcast because
you can definitely hear that he's pointing to his mouth.
So I'm going to kill that because that would bother me the most. I would be sitting there the entire time doing a rehab or a treatment, trying to work that out. So bad. Super easy for me.
Yeah.
Also super easy. Me personally, am going to marry the bad breath because I don't have a sense of smell and I don't have to deal with it.
So you don't care.
So I'm sorry, athlete or client or anybody I'm talking to, but it doesn't bother me. You can have as bad a breath as you want around me too, and I'm not going to care. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah.
So I'm marrying that, and it just means I'm effing the booger. I'll F the booger. I got some pretty obnoxious nasal hair, so boogers are a thing with me.
Yeah.
You know what the worst
You get
is?
stuck in there.
That pimple on the inside of your nose, and then you pick it, and it becomes a scab, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. Like worst case scenario.
They never don't hurt.
Yeah. Oh, incredible.
And it's not like you can easily pop it.
But I think I can ignore it for a little bit. Where if I have something stuck in my teeth, I cannot ignore it. So I definitely have to kill that. What about you?
So part of me wants to go a different direction, in that
you're allowed to do that.
Having something in your teeth is like marriage. It's just there.
So?
It's there for a long time. It's a lot of work.
You're in for a year and a half now. 18 months.
Yeah.
18 months of marriage for you.
There's a commitment there that you're going to have to stop a lot of the things that you normally do in order to handle you got something in your tooth, right? It's also why I want to kill it. Because as an athletic trainer, if I have something in my tooth, the only way I can resolve it is either I get lucky and I just get the right pressure.
Wait, you're married and you got lucky?
Oh, I got lucky. Many times. Oh, yeah. Or I got to stop everything I'm doing and go get some floss, go get a toothpick, whatever it is. And that's just not conducive to athletic training. So I'm going to have to kill it.
I had an athlete that literally gave me floss and asked me to keep it in my kit for him specifically. Because he was like a freak about flossing all the time. Super I got to floss. So
I had a couple athletes actually like that. But I never in the kit. Well, we always had it in the kit.
I put in my little carry, my little on-field.
I definitely had a few athletes that were pretty OCD about flossing.
Sure.
But I'm going to kill it
All
because it's going to stop. It makes me stop everything. I'm going to marry the booger because if I'm choosing to have something in my life more often than not, I'm going to take the booger because I can pretty much slyly do it while I'm giving a treatment, whatever it is, get the Kleenex, and we're on with the day.
You have you can hide it.
Covertly just grab that booger.
Sneak around on your booger.
And maybe, nobody noticed, right? So that means I got to...
You ever pretend I got a nosebleed?
No, I've never pretended because I just sometimes get nosebleeds. And that's even worse. It's God damn it. Now I got to work with something stuck out my nose. And everybody's this is kind of awkward, but I still need you to work on me. I mean, whatever. That means I am effing the breath. I'm going to F the breath. Now, this is why I'm going to F it. There's a quick solution. A mint,
some gum,
whatever. In and out, right?
Banaka, is that still a thing?
Oh, I'm sure. I actually, I have a little essential oil, a little drop in my mouth. Swish it around, and it's woo, man.
Is that just like a mouthwash?
Kind of, yeah. Basically.
Just an overpriced mouthwash. Essential oil, is it more expensive than a mouthwash? Probably.
I actually don't know if this
volume-wise.
But it lasts forever because it's one drop equals a whole cup of whatever Listerine. It works. And it's quick. It's easy. I'm in and out. Bing, bang. Thank you, ma'am.
Bing, bang, boom.
Whatever.
Okay.
That's what I got. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, thanks.
We got to talk boogers.
We haven't had a fun FMK like that in a little while where it was weird scenarios.
Or hard versus soft.
Hard versus soft. All right. So let's finish with this. Friend or foe, Kevin.
Yeah.
And then if you're on the live stream, let us know.
Okay.
Doing treatments or seeking out your athletes during intermission, whether that's a halftime or if you cover hockey in between periods, do you, and I say this from the terms of obviously if somebody comes up to you and asks for something, you're going to do it, but do you go to them and be hey, who needs something? Or do you just wait by wherever you normally hang out and see if anybody comes to you? Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Are you proactively going and offering services during your intermissions?
That's the word. The proactive
offer
during half times, intermissions.
So Colleen says, unless it's blood, I let them come to me. So she's saying foe in terms of going out and seeking. Because when I covered soccer at the collegiate soccer during halftime, I would go in the locker room and be hey, do you need anything? Do you need anything? Do you need anything? Do you need anything? And looking back at it, why did I do that? Just trying to create more work for myself? Does that make me a better athletic trainer because I'm looking for more work? I don't know. Because if they need something, they're going to come find me.
All right, you brought this up earlier. It's a little weird in the baseball world, but think about your starting pitcher, right? Your starting pitcher is just dealing. It's the third inning, fourth inning. Now it's the fifth inning. He's giving up one hit, just absolutely blowing Chad. And you see him start to come off the field.
Do you think that cheddar is the fastest of the cheeses?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Why can't it be blowing Swiss?
Yeah, why was it
Why Gouda? It's always cheddar.
That would be a good Google question. Why is throwing a baseball
maybe our friend Dave
fast
can answer that.
associated with cheddar?
Cheddar.
Is cheddar
The
Maybe.
fastest cheese.
Is cheddar the fastest cheese through your system that you're going to have to go?
Or like takes the least amount of time to process?
Oh, maybe. I don't think that's it, though. But
Parmigiano. I was throwing Parmesan out there.
it's a pretty fast cheese.
I really like Parmesan cheese.
So do I.
Mozzarella.
All right, you're in baseball. It's fifth inning. Your pitcher is dealing.
Yeah.
You notice he, like whatever, he's got a little gimp in his step. Do you go up to him during the bottom of the inning and say, "Hey, do you need anything?" Or do you just leave him alone until he says, "Hey, Chad, my knee is bothering me"?
When I was
It's not a no-hitter. There's nothing along that lines.
usually with baseball, with the starter, I would just check on them after the first inning and just say, "How you feeling today?"
Okay.
Like, you'll know after the first inning, they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm good," or something's just not quite right. After the first inning, then they're on their own. That's kind of how I treated it. Like, just a quick check, be like, "All right, is there anything you need? Are you loose? Are you good? Whatever." That's just how I operated. Check on them after the first, and then see ya.
So there's the psychological component of being the athletic trainer that is asking the athlete, "Are you okay?" And then the athlete has to ask themselves, "Am I okay?"
Yeah.
Right?
So it's probably a foe. Can it be a friend?
Halftime, intermissions.
Are you creating more work, or are you? I guess the argument for friend would be like, you're getting to it before it becomes a problem and it becomes more work.
Yeah.
Like if you catch something really early, maybe it's easier to fix than if you wait and it becomes a problem and now you got to put in a lot more work on the back end.
And
she said
you're sometimes like protecting your athlete from themselves, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, there's times that we need as athletic trainers to know that we have to step aside. We have to let people be accountable for how they're feeling to ask us questions. It's a tough one.
I think it is an interesting friend or foe. I think ultimately I'm going to say it's a foe, even though I always did it. I created my own work environment.
Right.
And because I felt like it was expected.
So you went around to every one of your soccer athletes and was like,
at
"You
halftime,
good? You good? You
yes.
good? You good? You
Yes,
good? You good?
I
You
did.
good?"
It was kind of like I checked in with everybody.
Did it ever bite you in the ass?
Sometimes it would be like, I need to retape this ankle.
Sure.
And then he's like, "Oh, really? Okay. What?"
Which I think is kind of like a reasonable request, right?
Retape an ankle?
Yeah. It's a quick thing.
No.
I
think it's unreasonable
really?
to get taped in the first place now.
Well,
looking
sure.
back, just put the brace on. Or don't tape it. Is it really the difference between you playing?
I don't know. I'd rather just retape it.
And more often than not, it's the sub that's really not playing many minutes.
Sure. Got taped. They've just been standing there playing around with their ankle, and now they're like, "Oh, my tape's loose."
Yeah.
I noticed that my tape is loose.
Yeah, when you're busy playing, you're not thinking about your tape job. You're like, "Oh, my God." Other than, I guess there are exceptions to everything. I guess I'm just generalizing.
I just wonder if if you're walking around the locker room and somebody's like, "Well, I don't want to say anything, but my knee kind of hurts." And then you spend 10, 15 minutes trying to evaluate a knee and whether or not this player can keep playing. Or every once in a while you're like, "Yeah, because you have a completely torn meniscus. You're not playing." Have you ever had that? Did you ever have at halftime you're like, you cannot play anymore?
No, I don't think I ever had that.
Okay.
Where I just realized something was
then it's a foe.
significant. Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be a foe.
It's a foe. You never. I mean, you've been an athletic trainer for 72 years, and I mean, you never found it.
72.
So there you go. It's a foe. What do we got?
I think that's it.
Oh.
It's weird because I want to go to the feature topic, but we
right?
started with the feature topic. So, again,
It feels so early. Should we just do a feature topic again?
just go to smarttoolsplus.com. Check them out. Use the code CANDID10.
Thank you again, Ed.
Hopefully you learned a little something about BFR. We might have to have him on again.
I think so.
Thank you to Healthy Roster,
Thank you very much.
being the official sponsor of Candid Athletic Training Podcast.
Love you
Our
guys.
friend Dan is going to be on 2 weeks from tonight with a really cool announcement. You're going to want to come on the live stream
You are.
and hear what Dan's got to say. They got a pretty cool thing that they're doing, and they want to unveil it here on the show.
They love
So,
athletic trainers.
The night of, today is the 7th, so I think we're going to do it on the 21st.
You and your
21st, 14 days from now. So come on the live stream on December 14th, 2022, and hear what Healthy Roster is going to do.
math. Right before the Christmas. Thank you, Human Kinetics, for giving us 20% off all of your courses with Candid CEU promo code.
Congratulations to Zach Dunbar, who won
Boom.
6 continuing education credits. CEU units, yeah. Why don't they call them credits?
I don't know. CECs?
That would be awesome. Credits.
It'd be
Units.
So, a lot of professions just call them CEs.
Yeah. Zach, you got 6 of them.
6 of them.
Courtesy of
How
Human
many do you-
Kinetics and us.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for being a part of this show. Thank you to all the live listeners tonight.
Yeah,
hope you
Lizzie
enjoyed
and Colleen and Nisi and Victoria and Mike.
Nees.
And
Niece's name is now Nees.
Kevin Joyce was on for just a half
Yeah,
minute.
for a
so,
short minute.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Thank you guys. CandidAthleticTraining.com. Candid_ATC. We are the Candid guys. We'll see you later.
all right, bye y'all.
Bye.